Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Just coming on here just to say hello, first and foremost, and just to tell you all that I love and appreciate every single one of you all with a godly love. Not to sound corny or anything, and I know that I'm always talking about love, but it is definitely something that the world needs more of. Um, on a great level, even working out the little differences that we have amongst each other and the differences that we have amongst ourselves. And I'm including in that that we always keep love on the forefront. We make love the meditation of our hearts, and we make love the motive in which we intend, because we were made out of love. And so I always love to say that in order to intend, it has to be from love. Although, everyone has their own personal definition of what love is to them, and that's perfectly fine. We grow in understanding of one another, so that we can, the bigger picture of the whole equation. I'm not a person that knows everything. I don't. Not necessarily trying to give a dissertation or anything, but I'm not a person that knows everything. I'm not a person that thinks that I have all the answers. I am learning, just like everyone else. But what I will say is that the older women teach the younger women. And just speaking from as a female, my grandmother, I always talk about her, but I always like to mention her. She's 87, and I learned a lot of wisdom from her. That I myself at times in life I fought and kicked and screamed, and I still do. But when I listen to her, and I take in some of the wisdom that she shares with me, I love to contemplate it, and I love to just apply to my life, because the Lord has blessed her with 87 years on this earth for a reason, and for her to still be in her right mind is a blessing. And I think that is what this generation particularly needs, is more love. Love make you come home. Love make you stay in the house. Love makes you responsible. Love grows you up. It's something to always go back to, and a person usually knows when there is no love there. This new age form of love that is being put out, it's a self-consumed form of love. Everyone, not pointing the finger at anyone, but we all have been guilty of it. It's the praise. Everybody wants praise for their personal endeavors. It's support me, support my business, support this, support my lunch, my breakfast. It's always like support. And you deemed someone that is a hater or something like that, specifically in this generation. And I'm realizing that we have tried so hard to get rid of some of the old school things, as far as like the practical things, practical ways of loving people. My grandmother, my grandmother told me the other day, she said something again. I fight and I kick sometimes with her, but I told her, I was like, well, Granny, I'm just gonna cut y'all off. I was like, I'm gonna cut y'all off. She looked at me, she said, you ain't never gonna cut me off, because I'm your granny. And we just started cracking up together, and I thought that was just so beautiful of her to say, and loving for her to say, you ain't gonna cut me off. And practical things like that. Even when people fight, even when people reject, because we gonna receive a lot of that in life, a lot of rejection, a lot of pushback, because people come from different homes, different backgrounds. Today I was also, just to give another example, I was having a conversation with a young woman around my generation. I'm not gonna put my age out there, but nevertheless, I was having a conversation with her, and she's a social worker, and she was explaining to me that the DCFS offices have children sleeping in the DCFS offices on the floor, like on cots and stuff. And she was explaining to me that her and her husband are opening up a group home. And the one thing that she said was, man, there is no love out here anymore. There's no more love out here. And so I'm so big on love, selfless love. Even when it comes down to being a believer in Christ, like, that is so important. And we it just seemingly, we got off track somewhere, and that's fine, because it's the grace of God concerning our lives and concerning our walk with Him, to bring us back to the main point of the moral of the whole story here, and that is to serve others, most times, all the time, and to utilize this precious grace, which is gold mine. Grace is such a gold mine. It makes you. I've seen grace make people beautiful. I've seen grace, take people out of bad spaces in life. And with that particular situation about the girl with her husband opening up the group home, that was just another example of how, what's missing, and that's the lack of love. There's a saying that says, you only need power when you're trying to hurt someone. Otherwise, love will do. And it's important that we really get a understanding of what love really is and how to utilize it, the different types of love, and in each setting, how to use these different types of love in our relationships with one another, as well as the relationships with the outer world, because that is so important as believers in Christ Jesus, that we portray this, we show this, we give this, and most times you're not going to get a return on investment. That just got to be who you are. You just got to walk like that. You just got to be like that. That just got to be in your character, because you're not going to get stuff in return, most times. And that's okay, because if it's who you are, that's the bonus anyway. That's the plus. It's just in your natural being. And so always praying and asking the Lord to give you a heart to love, and give you a mind to love, and to show you how to love. He's God. We can ask Him, we can talk with Him, we can discuss these things with Him, so that He can begin to open up our hearts and our minds to be able to know how to particularly walk in certain situations that we may not even think that's important, but it's a part of this. It's a part of the calling. It's a part of how we reveal Christ, and it's a part of just being what they say, a good Samaritan. Being a good Samaritan, and just making the world a better place. Most 9 times out of 10, I do get the left foot a lot, because I've always been a positive thinking person since a very young girl. My inner circle calls me the voice of reason. And yes, most times it leaves me to myself. Not that I big up myself, because I am not perfect. Off this screen, I do have a life, I have a family, and I'm a type of person. I like to kick it. I like to parlay, as they say here, parlay. That's, hang out with my people. I love my people. I love hanging out with my folks and having a good time with my people. But it's all in love, and that's what the world needs. The world is sick because of hate, and the only way to draw out hate is with love. And I just want to share that with y'all. Y'all be blessed, and more a blessing. Peace.